Hey everyone! Welcome to today's lesson 2 of the Hexie Sampler. I had one question come in over email that I wanted to answer right away. The needles. People had questions about embroidery needles. The difference between an embroidery needle and a sewing needle is how big the eye is. Sewing needles are typically shorter, while embroidery are longer needles. That being said, embroidery needles come in quite a few different sizes. I have this ID card and I'm hoping, oh, it's going to be backwards. Okay, let me figure out how to do this. If I flip the camera. Okay, 1 second here, guys. Okay, oh, there we go, good. All right, here is this card that I have that really explains things. Here we go. We want the English crewel embroidery needles. You can see the bigger the number, the size over here, the bigger the size, the smaller the needle. Number 1 is the biggest embroidery needle. Number 12 is the smallest. Here's the one that I'm currently using, which is probably about a size 6. I like to use the little bit larger needles. As what size you choose to use, that is completely 100% your choice. I like having people start off with the sampler packs because some people enjoy stitching with a larger needle. Some people enjoy a smaller needle. The 12s down here, those really small ones, and probably even up to like 8, maybe even 7, they're going to be a lot harder to thread. You can see the eye on them. It's pretty narrow. Best suggestion is just to try a few out. And I think as you go, you'll learn which ones you like. I pretty much did this whole sampler in the same size needle. I don't stray much from the larger one in the package, medium to larger one. Okay, if you have any other questions, go ahead and just type them in or email me, Facebook me, whatever works for you. But otherwise, today we're going to get started on, we have 3 stitches we're going to learn. Couching, chain stitch, and lazy daisy. So, my darling, dearest husband's going to come over here again and help be a video man. The first one, let's do couching. Couching is a pretty fun, simple stitch. It's this swirl hexie that we'll be working on. So you need 2 different colors of thread, maybe colors that would go well together. I have a contrasting colors. Sorry, I should have got these out a little bit earlier, huh? I want you guys to be able to see what colors I have. These 2 contrast. There we go. We got a red and an aqua. Let me just thread this up. We're going to thread our first one. Okay. The first thing we do is we come up from the bottom with our color, the color that's going to be the main color across. Here we go. Let's look at this. So I'm using right now red, which actually will be the aqua in this drawing. And then when I go back, I'm going to use aqua, which will actually be where the little yellow crosses are. So bring that up, take it off your needle and set it aside. I have the aqua here already with a knot on the bottom. Let me thread this one quick. Got to snip my end here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is you'll space them how you feel comfortable apart, maybe a little bit smaller than a 1/4 inch. Come up on barely on one side of the line, or you could even come up right, oops, my red pulled through, because I didn't do a proper away knot, so I got snaggled in that. Okay, so you come up on one side of the red, simply lay the red in the middle, and then go back down. You can go back in the same hole or very, very close to where you came up and pull it through. So you've just created that crossbar. And just continue to do that all the way. So this is a pretty simple fast stitch. A lot of people like to use this one on like stems of flowers or vines or long, even lettering, because it goes relatively quickly, depending on how many little anchors you put down. And then when you get done with your piece that you want, all I would do now is if I was done with aqua, oh, this is going to be a mess back here because I did not properly do my stitches, but what I would do is just weave it back in and snip it off. Then I would put the red thread back on the needle and go back down in and weave that one in and cut it off. So as simple as that, you guys. And remember, there are the YouTube videos so you can watch this. And I'm just going to cut these off so they're out of our way so we can move on to our next stitch, which is going to be the chain stitch. The chain stitch on our pattern is on the top and the bottom of the spool of thread. And it's going to be on the stem of the two flowers. So we just have a couple places. I like the chain stitch because it's a thicker stitch when you have things that need to be a little bit heavier. So I have a brown because I'm going to have a wooden looking spool of thread, although you could have, I don't know, an orange or a fill or a, well, the new cotton and steel come in all different colors, so it's entirely your choice. So for the chain stitch, I like to start on the left and move to the right. So bring it up from the bottom to the top. And what we want to do here, sorry, I like to, when I stitch, I like to put my frame on the edge of a table and use the table to hold it. Now again, if we can work on the top of our fabric as much as we can, we'll get a lot more efficient over time. So with this one, I come up in the same hole or very close to it, make a stitch. You can wrap that thread under there. And you've got a loop, kind of a chain link. Another way, if you don't want to wrap it under every time, you just pull it up like this is a circle and you're coming through the center. These are pretty big ones. For our little art we have here, I'd probably make them a little smaller. But then I'll just show you how to finish off that last one. And it'll be practice how tight and loose to pull your floss. It's just really practice. And again, all these are 3 strands of floss. But for ending, you just go down past your last loop and bring it to the end and knot it off. So there you go, there's a chain stitch. That one's pretty simple. And a lazy daisy. I'm going to thread, I need another piece of floss here. A lazy daisy is much like the chain stitch. I have a purple color over here. So I'm cheating you guys right now, and I'm just tying knots at the end of these for efficiency. 3 strands of floss, threading those on, and our lazy daisy, they work well for flower petals. We are going to do these 3 down here with the lazy daisy, and the echinacea or coneflower has, these are lazy daisy, they're filled. So when you get done making that stitch, the lazy daisy stitch, then you just take one big stitch to fill the center. Otherwise, right here is what we're making now. So to do that, you start in the center of this flower, come up, and you kind of make the last stitch of how you would do with the chain stitch. Go back down near or relatively close, coming up at the point of your flower. And again, you're making that loop and then going back down to have your one petal. Okay, we'll do another one here to show you. And you could fill these too, that would be kind of fun. So go back down about where you came up, come back up at the end, and again you can either put it under or make the loop just so it comes up in the circle. And then you go back down outside of your petal. There you go, there's the lazy daisy. So that's your assignment, guys, unless anyone has any questions. Now there's a couple people watching. Again, you can always email me. And your work. Oh, please show me your work. I want to see what you guys are making, so you can Instagram or post on this page, Instagram, the Hexie Sampler, so I can see it there, or tag me in it. We'll be meeting again, Facebook Live. So if you're in the shop, sorry, I gotta read my notes. Tuesday is Facebook Live again. We're gonna come back and do the fishbone and the satin stitch. So Tuesday, I'm gonna do that in the evening, so maybe some more of you that, you know, are at work right now. Otherwise, in person, you can come and we'll stitch along again next Wednesday at 10 a.m. And if you missed last Wednesday, there was a few of us, but how we did it is I just taught independently. So some people knew how to do some stitches, some people knew how to do others, and I just went around the circle and helped with whatever stitch you were working on. So if you missed last week, you still want to come, please do. I will pick up wherever you're at, wherever you're having questions or problems. So that works. Any questions? I know there was a person that needed the digital file, and I will email that to you. Not a problem. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you got this quick snippet of these stitches. Remember, you can go to the YouTube videos and watch them over and over and over again. But it's been fun, so let's keep going, and please, show me what you're working on. I want to see it. Have a great Friday and a great weekend, you guys. Bye-bye.